You have courted Emily Blunt for this to such an extent
that it's stalkerish.
Chris Hansen is waiting outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you have a seat right over there? Here's our full conversation with Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Emily Blunt about Jungle Cruise. Yeah, Disney's highly anticipated film based on its theme park attraction is finally hitting theaters. And the movie stars chatted about it in person with our Bryan Alexander.
Have you counted how much time you've spent together, including every interview together, walking the red carpet, you know?
Years now. Years now. Truly, we met in 2017.
No, kid.
2018.
2018. We met like 3 months before we started shooting.
Ah, that's right.
We met in 2018.
It's all a blur now.
It's all a sad
It's all a blur
for him. I have muddied his whole vision on life. We have known each other for over 3 years now. Yeah.
So at what point, I believe you met in Beverly Hills, we're talking
did.
2018. At what point did the chop busting begin? I mean,
like instantaneously.
Yeah.
I feel like the moment he sat down, it began. You were more gentlemanly at first. I think I went straight for the jugular like, as soon as we sat down.
You had to establish yourself.
I did.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bryan. That's exactly right.
First of all, Bryan, it's a beautiful night under the stars, and this one shows up in like triple sweaters for whatever reason.
No,
And
I
she's got
showed
the
up in like
heater
clothes. He
on
felt
or
I didn't
whatever
make
it was.
any effort for the meeting whatsoever. I was like in sweatpants. He was like, really?
And is this how you look?
Yeah, is this
Okay.
it? I thought it was unprofessional.
Mr. Rock, if I may.
You may.
You, I was going to go Ms. Blunt as well. So
You can.
I'll keep it equal. You have courted Emily Blunt for this to such an extent
That it's stalkerish.
Disney.
It's borderline stuff.
Borderline.
I'm gonna get
Do I
arrested.
need to call the police?
Yes.
Bryan? Like, do I?
Chris Hansen is waiting outside.
Yeah. Seriously.
What was it that swung it? And was there a phase two if she actually had
Oh,
said no?
That was why he was so disappointed when I showed up in sweatpants. I was like, oh my
Wait, you
God.
showed up in sweatpants?
Yeah, to the meeting.
No,
Oh,
she didn't.
I'm
No,
very
don't
baggy
start
clothes,
that.
like,
Yeah,
it's
no,
fine.
she was good.
I mean, you did a video, you got a Disney bigwig to write a letter,
It
you
was
know.
the script. That's all I needed. I needed the script, and I wanted to meet Jama. Because at the end of the day, like, you don't know what the experience is going to be like. And I've always loved the leap into the unknown of every job. Like, every job is a leap into the unknown, and I love that. I've learned to embrace it. But you want to know that the person helming it is going to give it their best shot in the world. And that they have conviction and vision, and they see it in a way that's unique. So what I loved about Jama was, as much of a spectacle as I knew he was going to create, he showed me the whole world. He saw images of the conquistadors, the whole thing. I was so sucked in and kidnapped by the whole concept. But then he said, I said, well, what's the movie about really for you? And he goes, it's about love. And I was like, in. I was in, because I knew we had an innate romantic at the helm of it and a world builder, and that's what we needed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your video didn't do anything for me. But
It did. Actually, it did.
What was
It
in
was
the video?
so-
it made me want to run.
Jama was going. He flew to Brooklyn to hand deliver the script to her, and I said, "Show her this video." And in the video, as you know, I could be very
You're
charming
very
when I
charming,
want to
yes,
be.
yes. I've been told.
So I sent.
charm.
Come on, you know. Hey. It's
Wow.
a God thing.
That is next level.
I did, and I sent that, and she. But there was no plan B. I mean, truly, I like to joke and say, Gal Gadot, and it was going to be, Scarlett Johansson, but there was no plan B. I mean, when you look at the script, and
He'd already creeped them out. They were like,
I said, there's only one. It's Emily.
Well, congratulations. Did you use any of that? And was there any ghosting? Because I've read ghosting.
well, everyone says it's ghosting, but I was very touched by your lovely video. It was clearly an impassioned plea to come and help.
I don't know if it was an impassioned plea.
It was
I
begging.
admire your work.
No, it's just begging.
And I think
begging.
you and I together
That's
on
good.
screen will be phenomenal.
Yeah. And
Right.
then I did read the script, and for me, it's, as he knows, Snobby McSnobberson.
It's everything.
It is the material
Yes.
that I just wanted to see if it was everything that everyone was deeming it to be and pitching it
And
to
it
be.
was.
And it really was. And it really was.
And how
But
did-
Bryan,
I'm sorry.
look, no, it's okay because I have to say this. She didn't respond, which is fine, right? Because she says, well, I needed to read the script first, which of course is fine. But
Then I read the script, and then I was in.
what you do if you're just a human being is respond.
I responded through Jama. It's
as
just he's a poor
caring
deliverer of the
human being.
empathetic.
Empathetic.
person
That does not happen
with
often.
any shred of feeling.
Any shred
You would sort of say,
emotion.
"Thank you."
Thank you.
Yeah. And instead I was like, can I use your gym? Do you mind?
And how did you prepare for the role of a ship captain who tells really bad jokes?
See, you're setting
just-
him up. It's so easy.
I was just going to say something.
What? Was that too much of a setup? I thought it was kind of like a.
No, it was good. It was good. It was good. You know, this one for me, Bryan, and you know, we've talked over the years. This role was a different one. It was a bit of a departure for me. I wanted to cover up. I didn't want my body and physicality to be the lead foot in this one. And it was 1917. I wanted to fit the part. I was acting beside one of the greatest actors of our generation. She will go down as one of the goats. She hates when I say this, but it's true. So
I will note that you rolled your eyes there.
yes, and I just wanted to do my part.
How hard was it to roll your eyes during the jokes? I mean, that seemed like a very natural
Very
part
easy,
of the process.
Very easy. I'm not a huge fan of puns.
Sense of humor. She's not a
No.
huge fan of.
It's not that.
Sense of humor. You want to see it again?
No?
British sense of
What do you
humor.
think of that accent, Bryan?
Oh my God! Well, I can't do a British accent, so I might actually be a little bit.
It's you share that. It's sweet.
The backside of water, piranhas, rising hippos, snakes. You know, obviously much was taken from the actual ride here at Disneyland.
Yeah.
I want to know how important was that to reimagine the ride and also to reimagine the character of Trader Sam, who makes a return here.
Great.
Very different from Trader
You
Sam.
want to take half of that?
You go. You start.
We wanted to make sure that we were making a movie that paid homage to the ride and the ride's charm and the ride's unique adventure-like ways. And we wanted to also make sure that we were telling a story that, even though it was set in 1917, that still had a presence about it that felt like it could compete with other movies today, especially with all the moviegoers out there and everything that they're seeing. And as far as for Trader Sam,
I think that it was very much that we understood we needed to maintain that whimsy and spirit of the ride and all the nostalgia, but we also need to bring it into this modern era of what's appropriate, what's sensitive, how people want to be represented,
Yeah.
respectful of cultures, a celebration of the Amazon in every way we could. And so it was
Yes.
a very deliberate conversation that was ongoing from the moment we started developing it.
Because this is a Trader Sam origin story to a certain
Yeah.
extent, and will she be part of the Disney ride? Because, as you know, Trader Sam has the original
Sure.
Trader Sam has been removed,
Yes.
and
Yes.
sign says back in 15 minutes. Will that be incorporated?
possibly. Yeah, possibly. So, there's been ongoing conversations. So there was almost parallel path conversations and dialogue happening as we were developing the script and we were working on the movie. Emily, Jama, and I, at the same time, Parks and Attractions were having their conversations too on how they could better the ride and how they could bring it up into this time.
Yeah.
So I could foresee that happening.
Was the top hat part of the original Trader Sam? Because there was a real deliberate kind of, oh, you can have my hat.
I
kind
don't know, because I didn't ever see the original Trader
I
Sam.
believe it was.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
So those are all the really small nuances that a lot of the Disney fans pick up and have
Right.
really enjoyed.
Right. And there's a lot of improv, or there was a lot of improv, that's what I read, but that comes across, the chemistry really across. Were there a lot of improv fails?
Yeah,
And-
everything she said.
No. It would be like me and Jack, joke.
And then I come in.
Yeah, and all the air would just be like, and
Joke, 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 flat.
You'd be like,
Here he comes again with
here
the
he
joke.
comes again.
Is there
Like a
an
lead balloon every time.
Wow.
Is there
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
No. Yeah,
Okay.
let's bring it. Let's
Let's
bring
just-
it. Come on.
Gloves are off.
Oh,
Is
God.
there an improv term that if something is going wildly off course, that you can kind of bring it, that you drop that in and be like, oh, bring it around, or,
Like a
Like in term?
yeah, or is it just cut? Or this isn't working. I was wondering about that. Like a safe word.
like
I
a
don't
safe
know.
word. Like a
Yeah.
safe word.
No, we had no in this.
Garbage. Garbage.
He had no safe words.
Any particular scene that you can recall that didn't make it into the film?
I
That
mean,
you,
Oh God, yes.
Deep
So
regret.
Yes.
It
Yes.
is in the movie, but the scene
sword.
where I pull the sword out of him.
oh right.
We
yes.
shot innuendo after innuendo after innuendo. We shot it all day, and there's like another movie made out of just that day. There's a whole movie about
Oh,
pulling the
God.
sword out of him and how far we could push Disney to get as many innuendos in there. And there's just enough for the adults to start laughing, but for the kids to be like, why are they laughing?
Yeah.
To Disney's credit,
They let
they
us.
said, yeah, let's push it. Let's
They
push
tried
it
to
just enough.
truncate it a little bit, and we asked them to edge it in a little bit.
Think of
Sure.
my dirty sense of humor.
I know.
Now, times that by 1,000, and then you get her sense of humor. You can imagine what that scene looked like.
I can imagine the hair going back on the back of a Disney executive's neck, all the way up and down the
It
line.
was so much fun, though.
The punching. There was a lot of punching.
Yeah.
Did you make any contact, whether at filming or
Briefly.
during the press
Briefly.
interviews?
No, she did.
Yeah,
she did.
He says I skimmed his
She
nose.
skimmed the nose.
I don't remember that happening.
Because you don't care. Because you're that kind of actor.
I don't
that on
remember
set?
it happening.
It was a scene where she punches me in the
So
face.
it was just a
that made the
slight
movie, but
stroke
she
of the nose.
yes.
But Clinton was such a baby.
She doesn't have the ability to pull punches.
No, you
know?
just were hungover, so
Mrs.
you didn't
I've worked with
reflex
Tom
your
Cruise
head
before. Okay.
Well, he knew how to move out of the
Who
way.
gives Who gives a I don't have to
Cruise moves
move.
quick.
I say, bring it on, bring it on, bring on your punch.
Yeah.
Did you know that you were going to have this kind of, great rapport?
Do you mean on the movie?
Yeah, the kind of
I mean,
feeling.
we knew when we
rehearsals,
met that
yes.
in rehearsals for sure, like we had so much fun, and we really, that's the beauty of Jama, is that he is a world builder. He creates this spectacle, but he understands the intimacy of the film is really where the beauty lies. So he knows how to dig for the gold and just to allow things to breathe. And we were given time on the day to stretch these scenes to smithereens until we saw, and you had that freedom to kind of throw everything against the wall to see what would stick.
Yeah.
And we all work very similarly. Like that's what was clear. Like me and DJ and Jack, we would all come into it with ideas and a spirited opinion of what we thought, and Jama just let it all happen. So I think the rapport came so naturally, and it's not just our chemistry, it's the chemistry with the whole cast. Like I think we all just had this thing, and it was just effortless, and it's a weird thing, chemistry. You can't kind of bottle it up and sell it, and people can smell it. Like they smell if it's forced, and
Right.
we've been around the block long enough. I could have chemistry with that stool. Like it's like I will find a
So
way
there's more
to have
talent.
it. Yeah, certainly a lot. So I should get something. But I think when you do have it naturally in
Yeah.
real life with people, like the three of us would hang out and just have this like thing that was so easy, you know it's going to by osmosis kind of end up on the screen as well. But particularly with you, I keep bringing Jack into
Yeah,
it.
look.
But we needed.
Well, our chemistry
we needed
anchors the
something
movie,
special.
right?
course,
It truly
of course.
does. But and chemistry, as she was saying, is a funny thing. You never know. But it was also the most critical element of the movie. Like everything had to hinge on this relationship, and the added bonus is we just really
Yep.
became the best of friends.
I did count, and there was actually, you did have 2 stunt doubles compared to, you had one stunt
Yeah,
double.
because she didn't have to do as much.
Why would you bring that up?
Yeah.
What was that
Well-
about? Why is there 2 versus...
Why? Why is that? I want to know that.
Well, since you asked, Brian, and since you asked, okay. Well,
One
because
wants more sincerely than the other.
no, because one's grandmother just died, and
Wow.
I said, "Well, let me bring you on," and the other one
No.
lost
No.
his brother.
Don't believe this.
And then I said,
believe
"Okay,
it.
I'm going to bring you both
That
on."
is low.
Yeah.
I really fell for that for a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so the loss of family members, which is never
Okay,
funny.
thank you very much for
It's
giving me
never
the
funny.
heads up on that.
It's never funny.
You are insane.
When someone loses a family member,
You know
it's never
what? No
funny.
one lost a family member before
It's
this
never
movie.
funny.
And stop bringing up your grandma. She died 10 years ago. Stop it.
There was no stunt double, of course, in the romantic kiss. Sweeping, epic, and
She
incredibly
wanted to be in it though.
incredibly Disney appropriate. How many takes on that? And what's your?
Fortunately, it was 2. No. I was like, Jama, can we get it?
Can we hurry up and get
Can we
it?
get it? One.
And those are tricky too, by the way.
Yeah, of
right?
course.
Because by the time kisses come around, generally as an audience, as whether you're really cynical or you just like watch the movie for a long time and you're in it, and it's when kisses come around, people
You want to
are.
revert it.
You want to
Yeah.
burn it, but generally people are like, "Oh God, But this one got a big reaction,
Yeah.
man, and it
Yeah.
was really
Jack
cool.
was horrified by it on the day. He said it was like watching his parents kiss at that point.
Because he's right
it was
there.
right at the end of the shoot, and he was
Yeah.
just like mortified by it, which made it even more awkward for. I was like, Jack, stop! Like,
And of course, you've got the leopard there, which is probably some guy wearing a green leotard,
Yes.
which would
Exactly
make it
what
all
he
the
was.
more
exactly.
romantic.
His name was Ben. He had very beautiful
Yeah,
eyes.
and it just reminded me of just some crazy if you get high at 3 in the morning and
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
the thoughts you have.
thoughts you have.
I have to ask you about McGregor Houghton. Of course, he says, my interests lie elsewhere. This is
Yes.
a gay character we never say the word gay. Could you talk about the development of this character and the actual decision not to actually use the word gay?
We didn't want to come across like we were standing on a soapbox, but we also wanted to make sure that diversity was owned and inclusion was owned and held in regard and reverence, and in the scene, which is one of my favorite scenes in the movie. It's one of our favorite scenes in the movie. Because to us it didn't matter if he said the word gay or not. What really mattered, I think, was just the truth between two men, two people, two human beings, sharing a drink and talking about the things they loved and the people they loved
And who they are.
and who they are.
Right. How did the development of that go, and how far, once again, going up the Disney ladder, how far
Yeah.
up does that go in order to get a scene like that done? And clearly was important to you as a producer.
Sure.
Credit Michael Green with writing it with a kind of delicacy and a simplicity. I think it was like
Yes.
really the beauty behind the scene. But all of those decisions, it was a very immersive thing between us and Disney. It was a big familial decision. Everything that
Yeah.
creatively went into the movie. And so, but really I will credit Michael for being the one who had to ultimately put pen to paper and make sure that that was delivered to everyone in the right way.
No, it is a wonderful scene, I must say. I got to ask you, too, about, I'm calling it Highlander syndrome. What is it about people that are eternal that get sick of it being eternal after just like a couple of 100 years? Do you buy this
Yeah.
concept?
That they get sick of it after a few hundred years, they're done.
Yeah. It'd take me 1,000 at least.
Really?
I mean, would you buy that? Do you kind of buy that belief that things would get really boring if
The
you were
thing, the
unkillable?
difference is that they're trapped. Like he's trapped. It's one thing, and he has to stay there, and he can't leave. And it's just that thing of living feeling you're living the same moments over and over again, the same people, the same this, and so I do buy it from Frank's perspective.
Sure, I do.
I do buy it.
I
The
think
sense
so
of
when you're
entrapment with
when you're
that,
stuck
you
in
know?
it, yeah, in a sense of entrapment. But if there was, such a thing as an eternal life, I don't know if I'd get sick of it.
It would take a while.
Yeah.
Know this about the jungle. Everything that you see wants to kill you.
Your underwater scene. Sometimes I don't think I've ever seen you swim in a movie before. How was that? And there was, the life to life.
Did you not see Baywatch?
Yes. Did you
Oh,
not?
well, there was-
why
I just remember you
the fuck
running.
would you laugh
I'm
like that?
I just remember him running down the beach. I know.
I blocked it out.
There was
No.
Yeah.
a big laugh there.
That was a big laugh there.
Oh, my
Yeah.
bad. I don't remember you
We
swimming.
all blacked it out, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't.
What was it about swimming?
How are you swimming? Do you need the stunt double for that?
Great.
He
No, I'm
sinks
great
like
at swimming.
a rock.
That's what I was
He has
wondering.
no
That's what I was
fat
getting
on him. He doesn't have an ounce of floaty fat on him. The man sinks like a rock. I had to keep him up. So in between takes, I'm just gonna ruin your street cred. I'm sorry.
Okay. Go
In
ahead.
between takes, they would bring in flotation devices to try and keep him afloat, so he could get a little break between takes.
Like on the arms?
No, big,
Okay.
massive floaties.
Okay.
And there is this fantastic picture that our producer Hiram took where he's sitting on one of these massive, what was it, that big floaty long thing.
Yeah.
And you were sitting on it, we were sitting on it, I was sitting on it as well because I was quite tired. And it suddenly flew out from underneath him. And the best part about it was that we were doing a scene before I dive in. So my hair was dry. And it fell out so quickly that I started to sing, and everyone dove in the water, and they saved me, and they left you, but because of the hair. Do you
Yeah,
remember?
because of the hair, yeah.
And he started to. He was like no one came for him.
But no
Nobody.
one needed to come for me.
They did. He was panicking.
No, I
he was
wasn't
Bryan. He
panicking.
panicked. He
Okay.
screamed. It was awful.
I can see panic. mouth to mouth underwater.
Yeah.
How is that to pull that off?
I have to say, when we watch the scene, it's so beautiful.
It's amazing
that scene,
in the movie.
But on the date, we couldn't even see each other. It's
Can't see a
very
thing.
murky down there, and so I could have been kissing anyone. It was probably one of your stunt doubles, and I
We're
wouldn't
kissing
know.
my foot, actually. Yes.
That helps us. That
Could have
helps.
been anyone.
Pushing my foot in your mouth. I'm in. I'll ride with you, Toretto. At least until we kill that son of a...
I did read about you wishing the cast good luck of Fast and Furious 10 and 11. You've already just kind of like wishing them kind of good luck. Is there no hope to bring you on board the main franchise? And if not, are we looking for another Hobbs and Shaw anytime soon? And might we have a new stunt driver?
There you go.
New aspect of it?
I'm a great driver.
No, there was, you know, the news about Fast, me not being in Fast 10 or Fast 11 or any future Fast and Furious installments, I had made that known to the studio a long time ago. It just happened to break recently when we had done our recent interview.
You said no more the main franchise.
That's correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and it got brought back up again after a certain interview that had come out.
Right.
So
It's a great interview.
It's very Fellini-esque.
It was beautiful. Beautiful.
So in response to that, which
It was very artistic.
yeah, so no, but with Hobbs, there's still there is a movie there that we want to make, and we will when the time is right.
Because we of course saw Jason at the end of the Fast and Furious in the main one, but he can kind of straddle both worlds. That's going to be cool and acceptable.
For him, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, there's a whole different dynamic, I think, with Jason and with Universal and with those other actors. So
Right, that group of
different.
actors. Fair enough. And of course, you play a superhero in most every movie. How is Black Adam going to be different?
in what way?
I mean, how do you become more super heroic, if you will? You gonna be acting like yourself, but
No, but you know, I think with this one, I think this one is going to be special. I mean, that's the goal, Bryan, was to make something special and was to help expand the world of the DC universe as Marvel has cycled through that incredible decade of filmmaking that they've delivered. And DC has too as well. So it's a new time and a new era. Jama Collette, as Emily said, is a world builder, and he loves creating intimacy and edgy intimacy between his characters. Right. And I also think this is also a character that's, again, like this character here in Jungle Cruise, a departure for me. Mm-hmm. His core purpose and drive comes from deep pain. And if you're familiar with the mythology, which I'm sure you are, of a man who starts off as a slave and loses his family, that is a unique and different kind of drive.
Right.
And what I also like about this, and we've talked a lot extensively about this, which is why you think the character is so cool, I may say, is I think for someone who straddles the line between hero and anti-hero and villain, you know, these superheroes just based on their based on their values, they don't kill people. But in Black Adam's case, he does.
Right, which is something I have to imagine is not going to be a problem for you to.
Oh, I came close with this one.
Yeah. He's got this sort of innate rage within him, so it's just perfect for Black Adam.
Of course, and then at the end of this particular film does set itself up for a sequel. I know, obviously, we must wait for the audience before we go, but is it, you know, are there even kind of even initial discussions? And at what phase of the, you know, I mean, I'm sure you're long past the honeymoon
We're having
phase.
great conversations, and you know, Jama.
Like really cool ideas.
Really cool ideas, like exciting ideas, and I think that we all have such an investment in this. Disney does as well, and I hope people want to see the journey continue, you know.
I got to ask about the presidential situation. So many times we've talked about this. or not necessarily me, but everybody, and you're saying, oh, if the people will it, you know, I'll let it happen. At what point do we get to sort of like exploratory committees, or, you know, kind of take it seriously? Because I thought initially that it was kind of like lighthearted, but it seems to be.
Well, it started off as lighthearted after the first poll that was taken, I think, from the Washington Post. I think back in 2015 or 16. It started off as a little lighthearted, and but in this case, in terms of what you're saying, I think in time, if that's the decision we make, we'll see.
Yeah, but nothing yet.
No.
Have you started
Campaigning against him?
No.
Yes, I have.
Oh my God, that was good. You are shooting the English.
It is absolutely breathtaking. It's as witty as it is violent. It's a revenge story. This aristocratic English woman comes to America to seek revenge for the death of her child.
So you too will be killing some folk.
I am handed a shotgun. I seem to be given a shotgun quite a lot, but rightfully so. It's really breathtaking, and I have this incredible co-star, Chaske Spencer, who plays the Pawnee warrior that she befriends, and they go on this really remarkable journey together.
Horseback riding is always a challenge, if you will.
Yeah.
What level are we at in terms of?
Pretty good now, because it was actually, my show got pushed because of COVID, so it was all I did during that 3-month push. It was like I just would go and ride horses, and to get really confident, because I think you do need to look like you know what you're doing, because I think people back then, they were just at one with the horse. It was like you couldn't even tell they were manipulating the horse in some ways. But I have a beautiful horse in Spain. His name is Etos, and I'm like madly in love with him. And he's so good that I'll literally say to him, all right, Etos, we're going to do a canter, and he'll just like take off. Like he's just beautiful.
And that's what you were doing during... were you in Spain during? So
no, I was in London. We've been based in London for a year, and the show got pushed a few months, so I got more time to train for it.
I don't suppose you've seen Call My Agent.
I have seen a little bit of it.
Did you see the scene where she has to learn how to ride a horse?
No, I haven't.
But do you? I mean, it's all about the
But
attitude.
it does make me laugh, because the guy I've been training with, Steve Dent, who has done any horse scene you've ever seen in a movie, he has done it, from Gladiator to Kingdom of Heaven, whatever. But he was saying it does make him laugh how many actors are like, yeah, I can ride, yeah, absolutely. And then they get there and they cannot ride. Like, we all lie, you're like, yeah, I can dance, I can sing, yeah, absolutely. Like, it's all things that you say you can do and you can't.
About the English, I can't wait for that, and I can't wait for people to see it.
Well, I can't wait for Jungle Cruise 2 and getting you guys back together. I hope long may it last, this wonderful honeymoon period.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video, check out these other videos from USA Today Entertainment to stay up to date on all of the latest celebrity news.